So if you guys are familiar with Homegrown Lifting, go ahead and drop some comments in the chat to let me know. You know, put your questions in the chat. There you go, English. So put your questions for Will in the chat. I've got a list of questions I'm going to be asking him, but go ahead and drop any questions you have for Will in the chat. He will be at HomeGymCon. In fact, let's see here. I think I've got, this was their booth at HomeGymCon last year. Let me see if I can pull this thing up here. I didn't actually plan on doing this, but oh well. There you go. So this was their booth at HomeGymCon last year. And that's also a preview of HomeGymCon. What you see, you see the swing sesh. You see the swing sesh booth. That looks like it was before the morning workout session, or it may have been during the morning workout session. People were on the other side. I'll play that for you guys again. You guys want to hear it again? There you go. There you go. So you guys see that they've got adjustable dumbbells. They've got bumper plates. Actually, they've got dumbbell handles. Then they've got bumper plates. That's the thing that they're really known for, is their bumper plates. They're also known for their they've got some other products there. They've got a home gym builder. A lot of companies are starting to have that as well. That's basically, you go on their website and you kind of like show them, you kind of like do a diagram of your room, and you start saying, hey, I want this thing or that thing or whatever. And you can put your home gym package together. Their stuff tends to lean a little bit towards weightlifting and CrossFit. It's not quite so much powerlifting. It's more weightlifting and CrossFit. They got like, I mean, you can use the bars for powerlifting if you want it, but they're more all around like CrossFit bars, The diameter of their bar, I want to say it's a 28 millimeter bar. Let me look at it. Let me not make up stuff here. So yeah, they got a Olympic bar, 700-pound capacity. Oh no, I was wrong. So it's a 30 millimeter shaft diameter. Their bar is like I said, 700-pound capacity, rated capacity with a 30 millimeter shaft diameter. This is their men's bar, and then they've got that's what it is. Then they've got a women's bar, and the women's bar is a 35-pound bar, and it's got a 28 millimeter diameter. That's where I knew I wasn't making up that 28 millimeter diameter thing. They've got bushings so that you have a good spin. So if you're doing any kind of deadlifting or any kind of cleans or anything like that, it's going to let you spin freely. You always want to check the spin on your sleeve. That's really important if you're doing kind of like the Olympic lifts. It's not really as big a deal if you're powerlifting, but for the Olympic lifts, you definitely want to have your sleeve spin as freely as possible. And so bushings like that are important. Actually, if you are watching, not just listening, and you guys want to kind of see their website, here. I'll share my screen. Let me share my screen real fast. And so let's go here. Right there. Boom. Share. Okay, so there you go. So this is their website right here. T-shirt, in case you happen to not have a shirt right now. But this is pretty much the stuff that they have. This is that home gym. Then they've got the home gym builder, as I said. You go in, you kind of put together all the stuff you want. They've got an independent squat rack. They've also got a wall-mounted foldable rack, and they've got one of those wall-mount storage bumper plate racks. I've actually seen one of those in person. My guy Justin actually did his home gym tour with us, and and in his home gym tour, he was showing me that he got all his bumpers from HomeGrown Lifting, and he had he got his bumper plate storage from them as well as some collars. So if you guys want to ask Will any questions about his company, the stuff is all made here in Kentucky. So if you guys want to ask him any questions about his company, you can put those in the chat right now. If you are watching this on replay, you can put after 9:30. Put your questions in the comment section, and I will make sure that Will sees the questions and comes back, and I'll have him like circle the block to answer your questions in the comments. Okay. We'll also put his contact information, the HomeGrown Lifting contact information, will be going across the screen, kind of like my little ticker right there. So let's see. In fact, let me find it right here. I know I got it right here. Boom, there you go. So yeah, you guys want to visit HomeGrownLifting.com, and you guys can check out all of the stuff that they have on their website. But they've got a lot of stuff. It's very reasonably priced, and a lot of people, are pretty happy with it. They're one of those companies that started during the pandemic, but I'm really impressed by the fact that they're still around, because a lot of those pandemic companies that started ended up closing. So they opened up. They said, okay, there's a shortage. Nobody can find equipment, so I'm going to start a company and get stuff in people's hands. And then you could always tell the companies that really cared, because as soon as lockdown was over, they started to sell their inventory off. Literally, if you go on, I can't believe I'm about to tell you how to do this, but if you go on Alibaba, that is a website, go on Alibaba, you'll be amazed at the number of products from companies you wouldn't expect that are on there, where they had too much inventory. Because think about the fact that these companies are coming out with inventory all the time, right? There's no way for them to sell everything. So they have their Black Friday sale, and that Black Friday sale is also known as, we got to get our inventory down. But we don't want to sell all of it because we want to still have stuff for Christmas. And then they have an after Christmas sale that's also known as, we didn't sell everything that we planned on selling this year, so now we got to get rid of this stuff because we're going to have new inventory coming in the new year. So those are some of the best times to save. You can obviously shop at Black Friday, but also highly underrated is the after Christmas sale. And then right around January, you'll get some sales as well, because like I said, these companies have this inventory. They have to get rid of it, because there's only so much you can hold in a warehouse before it gets full. So they have to get the stuff out. And then also think about the fact that a lot of companies use fulfillment companies. What that means is you pay an independent distribution company, you pay them to store your product, right? So it sits on a pallet. And then when somebody places an order, AI basically sends the order to the fulfillment company, and it says, hey, go pick up this adjustable bench off of rack number 185 and ship it to this address, right? Well, the fulfillment company works for multiple companies normally, and that's how they're able to keep prices low enough for the business. So if you start to have too much stuff on the backlog at the fulfillment company, they'll contact you, be like, hey, what are you going to do with all this stuff? Because it's not moving, right? And you're paying to have that stuff stored, whether it sells or not. So you'll see sales after Christmas. I don't know if anybody's ever told you this, but you'll see sales after Christmas and in January as companies are starting to offload their inventory. And when they can't sell everything, sometimes that stuff ends up on Alibaba. Okay, now you know what Alibaba is, because they figure we're in America. Alibaba tends to cater to people in other countries. They're like, hey, nobody from America is going to come check Alibaba. Yeah, well, not all of y'all are. All right, so anyway, right after lockdown ended, you started seeing a bunch of stuff hitting Alibaba from a lot of these companies that started up suddenly. Remember, we started seeing these companies we had never heard of just popping up out of nowhere on Amazon. You're like, who is this? Who is this? And they all talked about they all had like the home gym package, and it's like the power racks that were too short with 14, 16 gauge steel, because they were really just trying. First of all, there was a steel shortage during lockdown. Remember, before the pandemic hit, there had been a tariff thing where former President Donald Trump had a tariff war with China, and so steel prices went up, right? So there was already that issue, and then the pandemic hit, and so there was a shortage of steel. So you started seeing all these companies with 16 gauge flimsy steel racks coming out, And people obviously, once people started wising up, they're like, I'm not buying that garbage, risking my life using it. So a lot of that stuff ended up on Alibaba as well. Well, so when I see a company like Homegrown Lifting that started during the pandemic, but it's still around, it's still going strong, and it's still getting good reviews, I want to talk to them. Because think about it, they went to HomeGymCon. So if you've never been to HomeGymCon, you gotta think like it's not like other fitness expos, right? It's not even like other fitness equipment expos. So when it comes to fitness equipment, you've got a number of expos that most people don't know about. So there's URSA. Let me see what URSA stands for. It's the International Health Racket and Sports Club Association. That doesn't sound like anything, right? But they actually have a expo. So if you go to their convention and trade show, in fact, so one of the brands that's going to be there that I happen to know about is Bells of Steel. Bells of Steel is going to URSA, right? And at this convention, they have speakers and all that, but you tend to have a lot of companies there that are connected to public gyms. All right. Then there's another one. Let's see. I think it's uh, Fitness Expo. It's like the gym uh, uh, gym owner or something like that expo. Um, let's see here. It's a trade show. See what this thing is called. I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of it. Anyway, it's for people who own public gyms. So let's say you own so like Lifetime Fitness would be there. Gold's Gym would be there. Planet Fitness probably is there, right? So it's places like that and gyms like that, right? Well, if you guys check out the Prime Fitness AMA that was on our home gym, and then Joe Gray had a warm up with him, right, on his YouTube channel. You guys need to check that out. So in that interview, they mentioned that they started out selling Prime Fitness started out selling to public gyms. Well, public gyms, public gym owners are not as picky as home gym owners. Okay, I don't know if you guys knew that, but um, public gym owners are not anywhere as picky as home gym owners. They are quite I don't know. Like they're like, okay, does it look good? What's the length of the lease term? How much is it gonna cost me? Do you have a bunch of the stuff that's really popular right now? They're asking questions like that. Whereas home gym owners, we want to know, hey, well, okay, does that come in clear coat? Does that have what's the UHMW, even though technically it's not UHMW, but what's the UHMW like? Do you have the option to customize it? Like there's all kinds of things we ask about. What's the gauge steel? We want to know about the bolts. Hey, we're sitting there looking at the weld. Hey, this weld right here looks a little suspect, right? Because we're the gym owner, but we only have to focus on us. And so for any company to go to HomeGymCon, they have to be prepared to get asked hard questions by people who know what they're talking about, and that's home gym owners. So Homegrown Lifting was at HomeGymCon last year, and they're going back again, and that's why we're going to be having them. That's just one reason that I'm having Will in here. We're going to talk about that. So let's see here. Let's see, what time is it? It's almost 7 a.m. Okay. So Will should be joining us in a few minutes, and we'll be getting his take on everything that they're going to be doing at HomeGymCon. I want to know what their booth is going to look like. I want to know, maybe we can get a sneak peek at some of the stuff they're going to be taking to HomeGymCon. I want to know. Looks like we got a comment in the chat. I don't see any comments from Facebook. All right, I need comments from Facebook. Y'all need to jump in here too. So Matt said he broke the lever on his belt last night training. So you got to order a new. You have to order a whole new belt, or can you order just the what's the name of that? You guys help me out. What's the name of that company? They make a thing to adjust your lever belt. Or they make a thing. It's I forgot what it's called. Anyway, can you order just the part that you need, or do you need to buy a whole new lever belt? Uh, there, Matt. Just go ahead and put that in the comments. I'm curious. Um, yeah. So I was talking about homegrown. Yeah. So anyway, so I think that for me, I want to know about homegrown lifting, and I kind of want to know, like what they see is like, not just what they're bringing to HomeGymCon, but also like what's on the horizon for them as far as new products they may be releasing in 2024 or anything like that. So those will be questions that I'm gonna be asking him whenever he joins the show in a few minutes. But let's see here now. Before we let him in here, I am going to say what's up and hi to those late risers in Central Time Zone. Although we've already had a couple of you from Central, I can't. You know what? I'm not gonna knock y'all because Charlie is in Central Time Zone and he's here. Charlie B. Carlos, he's here. He's in Central Time Zone. Uh, he's actually may have headed to work already. Carbs Jim is in Central Time Zone. So you guys have represented the Central Time Zone well. I appreciate y'all being here. But let's go ahead and let's say good morning to everyone else in the Central Time Zone who is just now waking up. All right. So shout out to the Central Time Zone. Thank you for joining us here on the Way Too Early for a Friday podcast. We're glad that you guys joined us. We're happy to see you. Let's see here. We've got a very packed show here today. Like I said, I am going to be joined by Will Whitman at 7:30 from HomeGrown Lifting, and he's going to be previewing the HomeGrown Lifting booth at HomeGymCon, as well as talking about his products. We also are going to be joined at 8:05 by Ashton from Freedom Strength Co. He's going to be giving an update on a little power rack project that I assigned him. And then he's also going to be talking about what he's going to be doing at HomeGymCon. Because Ashton was at HomeGymCon, and to be completely honest with you, I didn't know who he was. Like he looked familiar, but I was at HomeGymCon, so everybody looked familiar, right? So I was like, eh. Then after that, then at 9, we're gonna shout out the West Coast, and we're also gonna do a special message to someone. We got a birthday message I got to give out, and then at 9:05, we're gonna do my breakdown of what it costs to attend HomeGymCon. That actually, I could probably move that up. I could probably move that up and do that right now. Really, see, do I have time to do that? Yeah, because then that'll give me more time to do the code. All right, I'll let you guys, because you're here right now, I'll let you vote. Do you want to hear from me break down how much it costs to attend HomeGymCon? Or do you want me to go over my criteria for selecting a coach? All right, I've only got like 25 minutes, so I can't do both topics. All right, so if you are still in the chat, tell me right now, put a 1 if you want me to talk about HomeGymCon and what it costs to attend it, and put a 2 if you want me to tell you what my criteria is for selecting a coach. All right, so go ahead, put that in the chat if you're watching on Facebook or you're watching on Instagram. If you're watching on Twitter, you will need to come to YouTube in order to put your comments. I'm not ignoring your comments, but the StreamYard software doesn't let me see comments from Twitter. So you guys have to actually come to YouTube. Or actually, I may be able to just go to, let me see, I might be able to just go to Twitter and see y'all. Do I have any comments right here? Okay. That may or may not work. I just don't want to have any feedback. Because sometimes you go on a different website, you get an echo. All right, so let's see. So first, so we got to vote for 1. So Carlos wants to hear about how much it costs to attend HomeGymCon. All right, Matt, I know you're in the UK, so you may not care about HomeGymCon. Would you rather hear about how much it costs to attend HomeGymCon, or would you rather hear about my criteria for selecting a coach? All right. So if I don't hear any other votes, then Carlos wins, and I'll talk about how much it costs to attend HomeGymCon. All right. Going once, going twice. All right, boom, too late. We're gonna talk about what it costs to attend HomeGymCon. All right, let's take a sip of the potion real fast. All right, so first of all, HomeGymCon is an expo and it is in French Lick. And most people don't know what French Lick is. If they have heard of French Lick, it's only because they're roughly my age and they know that the great Larry Bird is from French Lick. Okay? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, French Lick doesn't have anything there. So, as a result, the resort where HomeGymCon is held has all kinds of stuff. They've got a spa. They've got, if you're into golf, they've got one of the world's largest and nicest golf courses. Um, they've got shops. They've got a bowling alley. Last year when we were there, my daughter and I went downstairs to the bowling alley because my wife was upstairs getting some work done. So I took my she was 7 at the time. So I took my little girl downstairs and we were in the arcade. We ordered a pizza and then we're in the arcade playing video games. We played Space Invaders and that was one of my favorite all-time memories of as a dad getting to introduce, because I've introduced all my kids to video games, right? But she was the first one who I introduced to arcade games. Because you know, where you normally see arcade games, right? So anyway, so it was really cool. But when people are talking about attending, one of the things that they talk about is the cost, because French Lick is in the middle of nowhere, so it's not like the easiest. There's not like an airport there to get to. You have to fly into either Louisville or Indianapolis to get there. And people have told me that it cost them like $2,500. I've heard more than that. I've actually heard even more than that, higher numbers than that. I was like, I don't understand how you guys are spending this much. Now, I understand if you're flying from somewhere like California, but still, man. So let's just go through my cost breakdown for HomeGymCon. All right. So pull this up here. All right. So I'm going to put this over here. All right. So a little bit of background, and then I'll share my screen. Actually, I'll just go ahead and share the screen now. So we're talking about this. All right. So hope you can see that. If you can't see it, then you're in the same boat as the people who are just listening. But I'll just describe it. Actually, hold up. I can probably just zoom this in for you. Look at that. Look at me all technological. All right. So I got my ticket. Number one, there is a definite benefit for ordering early. So I got my full event and access ticket. So that's tickets for the full event Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I'm sorry, Friday and Saturday. We get there Thursday. So it's for the full event and early access plus dinners. So when I say early access, that means before the actual event opens up, you can go in early, I think 2 hours early, and you can do a workout with all of the equipment from all of the vendors that are there. All the vendors make their equipment available, and they're there too. So they'll be standing right there, and you can go in. So like last year, I worked out. I think I was working like chest. So I did my chest workout with the Bells of. I did my chest workout on the Hydra from Bells of Steel, and then I did. I followed that up with. Let's see, with some dumbbell work. I went over to the Rep AB 5200 2.0 and grabbed some of their dumbbells, and I did my accessory work there. And then I was able. Then I said, okay, now it's time to play around. So then I tried out the Rep Open Trap Bar and the and the Rep Safety Squat Bar. Right? Yes, you heard that right. I tried them both out at the same time. So I loaded weight on the safety squat bar in the rack, and I walked out with it. And a well-made safety squat bar, you don't have to have your hands on the handles. So I stepped into the trap bar that I had already loaded. I stepped into it, reached down with the safety squat bar still on my shoulders, and I grabbed the trap bar handles and I did some deadlifts with it, right? That's actually called an ox lift. It's not a lift I made up. But you should have seen Adam from Rep Fitness saw me doing it, and his face was like he was looking for the fire marshal, the insurance company. He didn't know who to call, but it was a good time. But anyway, you guys heard, if you were watching last week, you heard me say that I watched Ashley coach somebody to a PR. Well, that was during the open workout time at HomeGymCon, right? So you get to actually, in addition to walking around and just kind of touching the equipment and talking to the people, you actually have an early access time where you can go in and you can just play with everything. So, but that's not automatic. You have to pay for it. All right. So my full event and early access ticket with access to the dinner that happens with the vendors Friday night. That's right. You get to eat dinner with the vendors. So you get to sit down at the table and just say, hey, this is what I think about your product. It sucks or it's great, whatever. And so that's $209.99. That's the most expensive ticket they have. Okay. Then I got a hotel room because I'm arriving Thursday, and I'll be there Thursday night and Friday night, and I'm checking out Saturday. So my hotel room for Thursday is $159. My hotel room for Friday is $219 because that's obviously the weekend rate, right? And then if you add tax into it, my total hotel cost is $427.14. So Matt, I don't know if you can see because I know what your situation is. I don't know if you're at lunch right now or not, but basically, my total cost is $987.13. So $987.13. All right. So that's my total hotel cost, including sales tax, my full event and early access cost with the dinner included, $209.99. And then I live a little over 100. I live a little over 400 miles from the hotel. I think it was like 455 miles. That number's kind of stuck in my head. And my car gets 424 miles per fill up. So I estimated 3 fill-ups, and I estimated about $50 per fill-up. You know, I mean, now that's going to fluctuate because obviously I'm filling up here, and I know what the gas costs down here, but I don't know what gas is going to cost when I get to, Indiana, just for example. But I gave myself an estimate of $50 per tank. All right. So that's $150. And then I estimated that my meal cost, not counting the dinner that I'm going to have at HomeGymCon, but I'm talking about food on the road to and from there. I gave myself an allowance of $200. I probably am not going to eat $200 worth of food. Okay. Because I'm just not, probably not. But that's the estimate, right? So I may end up getting up to $1,000, but this is my current estimate. And I think we spent more than that last year because it was me, my wife, and our little girl. And so that's anything we bought was by 3, right? So it's I wasn't buying just one meal, I was buying 3 meals if we stopped to get something to eat, just for example. I don't know. I'm not counting, obviously, if you're going to have a lot of the vendors give you the ability to purchase equipment there. And for you, Matt, if you were to attend, you would probably want to take advantage of the fact that you can order the stuff and then they will ship it to you, right? So, but you'll get a discount for ordering in person. But anyway, that's not in this list because nobody's forcing you to buy anything. All right. Nobody's forcing you to buy anything. So all I put down was the stuff that you have to pay for if you're going to attend HomeGymCon. Also, you don't have to get the ticket with the full event and early access, including the dinners. You might say, hey, I just want to go for one day. You may say, I want to go for just I don't want to go to the dinners, is what I'm trying to say. Maybe you want to go, but you don't care about the early access for the workout. All right. There are other ticket prices. So that number of $209.99, that's the highest price, but you can pay less. It's completely okay. And then they have competitions too. So, that cost would be additional if you were competing in something. But I think, though, if you're competing, that your cost to attend may be prorated. I'm not sure about that. Okay. I'd have to ask Jake that. But anyway, so $987.13 total. And let's see here. So let me stop sharing for a second. Remove. And then now you got me curious, Matt. What's the UK exchange rate? I wonder. You guys are back on the British pound, right? I think. To British pounds. Okay, so it says 783 and 87 pounds sterling. Do you guys say cents or do you say pence? 783.87. So we would say $783.87. But for you guys, it's pounds sterling. So is it 783 pounds and 87 pence? Yeah. That's just a random question that really has no bearing on anything. All right. So anyway, that's my cost breakdown for HomeGymCon. And I'm telling you, man, one of the things, and this is why I'm so passionate about it. So the thing about HomeGymCon is when I first heard about it, I guess maybe 2 years ago. Now, yeah, it may be 2 years ago by now, but maybe a year and a half. I don't know. But anyway, when I first found out that Jake from Garage and Experiment was creating HomeGymCon, I reached out and said, man, this is the best idea I've ever heard of in terms of the home gym community. Because, as many of you know, I've had a home gym since 2001. And when I started my home gym, the Arnold didn't exist. Well, hold on, baby. Let me see something here. I don't want to lie. When did the Arnold Sports Festival start? Let's see here. Okay, that was a lie. I just told you. So the Arnold Classic started in 1989. Okay, but I want to know when the actual festival started. Like when. So it started as a competition and it became the sports festival. But when did the sports festival start? I don't know, because the expo didn't start at the same time as the bodybuilding show. Because I never went when it was just a bodybuilding show, and I didn't start going until I would start going in 2013, and by that time the expo was already around. So anyway, whatever. But to put it in perspective, but getting back to it, there wasn't anything that you could go to if you weren't competing in it. There wasn't anything for home gym owners, especially to attend, where you could be around other home gym owners. So it was a little frustrating. Like if I go anywhere, I'm always the only home gym owner. And I know a lot of people who've had home gyms for a long time have similar stories. You go somewhere, you go to a powerlifting meet, you're the only competitor as far as you know that trains in the home gym. Everybody's trying to get you to join that gym. I went to the Arnold and I had some community because I was a member of the Arnold, the Animal Barbell Club. And if you guys are watching, you can see this banner right here is from the last 3 times I went up to the Arnold. There's a thing called the Animal Barbell Club through Universal Nutrition, which is how I met my guy, Greg Santacero, the guy who founded G-Code Nutrition. Got their BCAAs and their pre-workout going through my veins right now. In fact, let's take a sip of the potion. Another sip of the potion. Yeah, that's pretty good. Anyway, but that's how I met him. And so community for me was being on these online forums. But there wasn't anywhere to go where you could like be around other home gym owners unless you meet somebody on one of the forums and they happen to mention that they have a home gym, and then you two happen to be at something like the Arnold. So I've been at the Arnold. I saw his name is Jonathan. His Instagram handle is at Family and Muscle. I ran into him at the Arnold. Ryan De Pompeo and his wife Julia at Working Class Beast, and at Julia De Pompeo. J Champ IFBB Pro. That's Julia's Instagram. I met them in person at the Arnold for the first time, but there really wasn't anything for us. Okay, and then you get somebody who's a part of our community, right? Who's legitimately a part of our community, who's been a part of our community. Not knocking anybody that joined the home gym community in COVID. I'm just saying, like, you guys know there's a difference between people who had home gyms before COVID lockdown and people who started their home gyms after COVID lockdown. Because all of us who had home gyms before COVID lockdown, we remember people telling us that we should sell all that stuff and join a gym because there's no point in having all that equipment, that it was just going to go to waste. You couldn't possibly train hard enough at home by yourself. Okay, well, then they saw the truth when lockdown hit, and all of a sudden, then they're scrambling, coming to us for advice, right? So we welcome them to the community, but I'm just saying there's a difference. And so Jake has had a home gym for longer than that, for a long enough period of time to really be an embedded part of our community. He's done a lot for the home gym community. So when he said he was creating an expo, I trusted him. And I said, man, this is a good idea. And I got behind it immediately. I started telling other people because I wanted to grow. Things like this, things like HomeGymCon don't grow if we don't support it. And who else is going to care about it if it's not us? Right? Literally, who else is going to care about HomeGymCon if home gym owners don't care about it? We're going to mess around, and if we don't support it, it'll go away, and we'll be filled with regret because a thing that could have been great, that could have been for us, is now gone, and we'll sit around and complain about the fact that there's nothing for us. I've been through that. HomeGymCon just started last year. So for over 20 years, I've been in that space of not having any way to get together with other like-minded people. And everyone who went to HomeGymCon last year, the number one thing we all talked about was how, even though most of us are introverted to a certain extent, it was still great, awesome, wonderful. I can't even give you enough adjectives for it. To be in a room full of people who get you, a room full of people who are interested in what you're interested in. And the number one, but I just told you, we tend to be introverted, right? So we don't like to travel. It's hard to get me, I promise you. I bought a thing from Best Buy, right? So I messed up the cable, the USB cable that connects my mic to my computer. And all I need to do is go to Best Buy and get a replacement. Do you know I messed that thing up in December, and I've been dragging my feet about going to Best Buy because I didn't want to leave the house. It just occurred, and then yesterday I was like, hey, I could probably just order it from Amazon. But by that time I was already at Best Buy because I needed to get something else. But whatever. The point is, we don't like leaving the house. So I get it. And so every one of us says they want, oh, well, why is it in French Lick? That's too far. Well, America's a big country. It's in the center of the country, so it's far for everybody. And what everybody says is, well, I wish it were somewhere, and then they'll name somewhere that's closer to them. Well, if you live in California and it's closer to you, guess what? Now it's far from everybody else. If you live in Boston and they move it closer to you, well, now it's further away for the people in California. And I guess the heck with the Alaskans. That's what they get for living on the other side of Canada, I guess. But you know what I'm saying? It's rough. And that's another thing. There were people there from Alaska at HomeGymCon last year. If you don't know how far away Alaska is from everything else in America, you need to just Google one time. And I ain't trying to hear from anybody else about how far away HomeGymCon is from you. All right? HomeGymCon is a great thing. And I wouldn't say, I'm not going to go so quite so far as to say it breaks my heart, but I will say that it's irritating when people immediately dismiss it and say it's not It's too expensive, and they kind of, to me, it's like the lazy person's way out, you know. So for I ain't trying to hear from anybody else about how it costs $2,500 to go to HomeGymCon when I just showed you the breakdown of what it cost me, and I took advantage of everything. And I'm driving there, and it's $987.13 for me, and I live over 400 miles away from the place, one way. So there's that. So that was a rant, but that's what y'all asked for. You said you wanted me to talk about that, so I got to give the people what they want. So I did. So that was my rant for HomeGymCon. So let's go, and I'm jumping on live chat one more time, and then I'm going to bring our guest on because Will Whitman, see, he just joined, and I don't want to waste his time here. So Matt says he's looking forward to be a home gym rep at the Arnold's in the UK. I'm going to show him what us shed goblins can do. Hey man, go in there and represent, dude. That's what I used to say whenever I went to the Arnold. I'm like, or any competition really. The fact of the matter is you're gonna know. You don't tell me what I can't do. Just watch me do it, okay? But yeah, it's good to leave the cave, man, and whatever your thing is for leaving the cave. But let's go ahead. I'm gonna add Will right on here now. Bringing him on now.
Morning.
Will Whitman, what's up, my man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, John. How are you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Look, you're not awake enough. What's going on here? Do I need to wake you up?
Yeah, just about now. My two girls just did that about 30 minutes ago. So, yeah.
Watch this. I'll wake you. Watch this.
Yourself up, you've been knocked down. Get yourself up. You've been knocked down. Get yourself up. You've been locked down. Get yourself up. Yo, get yourself up. You've been knocked down. Get yourself up. You've been knocked down. Get yourself up. You've been locked down. Get yourself up. Yo, get yourself up. You've been knocked down. Get yourself up. You've been knocked down. Get yourself up. You've been locked down. Get yourself up.
I'm ready to go now.
All right, there we go. All right. I knew that would fix it.
Oh,
All right. So, Will, you are one of the co-founders of HomeGrown Lifting, and I appreciate you being here with us. I know you had to peel yourself away from the warehouse and keep an eye on the workers. What you don't know is I sent an email to the company email, and I told them, hey, you guys got 30 minutes to screw up, so I'll delay him as long as I can.
There you go.
Right? Just seeing your face, you're like, wait, what?
I'll get a knock on the door here in about 10 minutes. Hey, a press broke or something. I'm sure something's going to happen.
All right. So let's just jump right into it. All right. So your bumpers, you're going to be on HomeGymCon, and we were talking about your bumpers earlier. So your bumpers have been voted among the 13 best bumper plates.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to butcher his name probably, but Alexei Torokidis. He's an Olympian with like 21 plus years of weightlifting experience. So you guys, if you're hearing that, Olympian, yes, competed at the Olympics and he's got 20 plus years of weightlifting experience. So first question is, how cool is it as a new company to get an endorsement of that sort from an athlete of that caliber?
I can't even tell you. It feels awesome to have somebody of that caliber and that with that type of platform say something like that about you. We worked really, really hard in the first couple of years that we were working on these plates. There was a lot involved with the R&D and the design and the material sourcing, and to have somebody of that stature come in and say, hey, not only are these plates, do they work? Not only do I like them, but I really, really put my name behind them and think they're awesome, think they're good for a home gym, think they're good for, whoever wants some nice bumper plates. That was a good feeling. It really, the day that we saw that, we were definitely happy.
Yeah, you should be. You should be. Now you mentioned like what you guys had to do in order to get off the ground. You've got a background, I believe, in starting and running. It says a rubber/urethane manufacturing company before you co-founded HomeGrown Lifting. So, how did that experience help you with developing products specifically like the bumper plates?
Yeah, without that experience, it really wouldn't have been possible. So basically, before we started HomeGrown, I had a company. We were more industrial focused, urethanes, rubbers. I won't bore too many people with the details, but basically we just made big rubber parts for big companies, auto companies, mining companies, things like that. And so, a bumper plate really is just a big rubber part that has to last up to a lot of wear and tear. And that was basically what we were making before. So we were able to take some of the knowledge we had, some of the, suppliers we had, and some of the machinery we already had, and say, okay, this is something we're both interested in, me and my co-founder, Zach. How can we take both of our knowledge bases and make this product? And so over about 2 years, while that other company was still running, we just got some extra equipment and, threw some brain power at it. And slowly but surely, we really built up this product that we were really happy with. And that we really think, obviously a bumper plate is a bumper plate. And at the end of the day, it's a big hunk of rubber you throw up and down. But we did, we added some stuff to it that we think really brought some value to people. The way that we do our collars, some of the raw materials that we put in there just to decrease costs without compromising that really nice quality, and let people get into the home gym, get their home gym and not have to spend $3 a pound, $1,500 to buy $500 of bumper plates. That's something that we were really proud of.
Nice. All right. So you started during the pandemic. As you were saying, there was a bunch of stuff was out of stock. So what I was mentioning before you came on, that one of the things that impresses me the most is you're still around, because so many of these companies that started in the pandemic, they they start and then they vanish, right? You see all their stuff is up on Alibaba and you're like, okay, well, they're gone, right? But you guys are still around. And I actually did a home gym tour within the past month. It's up on my channel now. And the home gym owner, Justin Weeks, stocked his gym with bumpers and collars from HomeGrown Lifting. So what's been key in your mind to sticking around when so many other companies that started during lockdown have already folded?
I think one thing, and I'm not saying other companies don't have this same attitude. I'm sure there are, but one big thing was just kind of our attitude that, obviously we're a company. We want to make money. That's our goal. We got to feed our families. But what we also want, we just want people to be happy with our stuff. And we want to get our stuff to people at a good, fair price. Could we charge more? Probably. Could we make more? Probably. But in the end, I'm not totally sure it would be worth it. So kind of our whole thesis the whole time we've been around has been, let's make a really high quality product, but let's try as best as we can to make this thing affordable, easy to find, easy to buy, easy to use, just make it so that Joe Schmo off the street can get online, order this stuff, get it in his garage the next week and start working out. And then, organically, kind of word of mouth, just let that speak for itself, instead of, going and investing in some, crazy marketing campaign, any of these crazy promises, stuff like that. Just really making a quality product that works, and then let people be the judge.
Let's switch gears to HomeGymCon this year. This is going to be your second time at HomeGymCon. And I actually played the video clip of your first booth for everybody to check out. Once again, those of you who are just listening, if you're driving down the road, don't stop to look at a video, okay? I don't want that on my conscience. But you guys can come check out the replay, and you will see the video that I'm talking about. You also can check it out if you go to Instagram.com at HomeGrownLifting and check them out. You'll be able to see some of their clips from HomeGymCon. But as I said, this will be your second time at HomeGymCon. How did the experience of going there in the first year prepare you for year number 2?
Just got us so excited. That first year, we had no idea. I don't think anybody really did what to expect. And we went up there, and it was so much fun. I mean, obviously, we met some great contacts for the business. We met some people, we sold some weights, but just the amount of fun we had, the community that was up there, walking around to everybody's booths, trying out samples, talking to different people, hearing what, somebody in Texas was doing and somebody in New York was doing and somebody in Florida was doing. And just seeing all that, it really got us excited to go back. And there was never a question like, should we do it? Should we not? It was 100% like, man, we want to come back to this. We want to do it bigger. We want to do it better. Like, this is, not only is it 100% worth it for us business wise, but it's just a fun time. You go up there and you go to the dinners and you meet all these other cool people who are doing the same stuff as you. And it's really inspiring. And, yeah, it's just, you come away from that weekend, you're like, you're re-energized. Exactly. And you go into work on Monday and you're like, yeah, let's get back to it. Let's roll.
Nice. All right. So I on purpose didn't tell you I was going to do this, because I want to get your raw reaction. So here you go. That's something I want to show you.
That's just weeks here. Recently, I purchased a set of HomeGrown Fitness bumper plates from a company called HomeGrown Fitness out of Kentucky. And I got a set from 2.5 to 45 pounds. They're really great weights. They were super affordable, and I was supporting an American company.
Oh, we love to see that. That puts a smile on my face in the morning.
Nice.
That's awesome to see.
So you got that, but you got it multiplied by however many people were. I think we had like 100 people last year. So you got that multiplied by 100. So what's that like? Because like I said, that's what you're going to be experiencing, because unlike other expos, I don't know what other expos you guys have gone to, but unlike other expos, everybody there is a home gym owner. And even if you go to like some kind of gym industry expo, the people there are pretty much, they're not going to be as exacting. I mean, they want stuff to be durable, but they're like, hey, is this popular? What's the least going to cost me? That kind of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Home gym owners are like, we want to know the minutia of every little detail. Hey, tell me about your bush. Is this a bushing bar or a bearing bar? What diameter is your shaft? Is it Cerakote? Is this available in Cerakote? All the things you can think of. And then you're going to get feedback from these home gym owners, instead of having to wait, to be tagged on Instagram or something, or, nobody likes writing reviews.
Mm-hmm.
You wish they would, but nobody wants to write a review and put it on your website. So how does it feel not only to get that, but is it also intimidating knowing, hey, these guys are going to kind of like be coming at me. I'm going to have dinner with these people and they're going to tell me exactly what they think of my product, which can be, I mean, your product is like your baby. So tell me about like the mix of emotions.
That's probably been one of the hardest things about switching from, more of a industrial kind of big company focus to this consumer, face-to-face focused product is, you make it, you're really proud of it, and you think it's awesome and like it's your baby, like you said, and then you put it in these people's hands, and like the moment it leaves your hands, you're like, oh crap, like, did I do this right? Did I do that right? Like, what's that? Is there something wrong here? And so every time we, from shipping somebody just 210s all the way up to thousands of pounds, every time those go out our door, it's like, I know they're going to be great. I know they're right, but there's always that what if. So it's so rewarding to see videos like that and to hear people, talk about your stuff and go online and see posts, saying, hey, I've got this stuff that was great price. And like, I love it. It's the most durable stuff I've ever used. So it definitely is a roller coaster of like this crazy anxiety of, oh man, like we just want to make people happy. We just want to get the best stuff to them, but we are human. We try, every 1 out of 1,000, we're going to make a mistake. And then that flood of just happiness when you see people being like, yeah, this is 100% worth it. This got me back into lifting. This got my home gym rolling. These are so awesome. I'd recommend them to anybody. That is probably the best feeling that we have day to day, is when you just see somebody sit there and say, not only do I like these, but I'm going to recommend these to a friend.
Nice. As a vendor, and you have a home gym, right?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Because I know your partner has one. Okay. So as a vendor and as a home gym owner, you got to go to HomeGymCon, kind of like wearing two pairs of shoes at the same time, right?
Oh yeah.
So what were you most looking forward? Because we, like you said, none of us knew what was going to happen. I mean, I had been to the Arnold a bunch of times. I had been to the Olympia. I had been to when my first job out of college was at a public gym, so I had been to the Perform Better seminar, I think Idea, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't know what was going to actually come out of HomeGymCon. We were just hoping. So, what were you hoping for most as a vendor and as a home gym owner from HomeGymCon?
I think the first time we went as a vendor, we just wanted some exposure. Back we've grown exponentially every year, and so even a year ago, to be where we're at today was like unimaginable. And so back then, we just wanted to get out there and take our plates up there and basically say, "Hey, here we are. Like, judge us off our plates. If you like them, great. If you don't, let us know why, and we'll work on it." We really had no idea what to even expect. I basically loaded up my truck on a Friday, picked Zach up from the airport Saturday morning at like 5 a.m. and we just drove up there and hoped for the best, really. So that was a little bit, we just wanted to get our stuff out there. As more of a consumer, I wanted to just go up there. That's my first fitness expo I'd ever been to. I've never been to any of the other ones.
Don't judge the rest of them by that, okay? I'll tell you right now, because like the Arnold, you need a lubricant to walk.
Really?
So, yeah, it's actually so. A lot of home gym owners tend to lean introverted, all right, and even I lean a little introverted. I can function in public spaces, but I would prefer not to be there, right? And at the Arnold, it is so crowded that you literally you're sliding past people all day.
Really?
So just think about, literally, you're sliding past people all day. You're like that, right? There's this contact, flesh on flesh, or, I guess you're wearing clothes. So like t-shirt on t-shirt or whatever. So if you just think about the germ transference.
Oh yeah.
When COVID happened, they stopped the Arnold because it's so crowded that there's no way to have it without everybody just being up on each other. You breathe the same air for however long you're there. HomeGymCon to me was a breath of fresh air in that it was very, very, I would say it's weird to call it this, but it's intimate.
Oh yeah, it was. That was probably my favorite part about it. You would go up to these booths and there were plenty of people there, but you go up and immediately somebody come out and be like, "Hey man, what's up? Have you seen our newest bar? Have you seen our newest, drink? Have you seen, these plates we got?" It was so cool. Anytime you walked around, just immediately being able to see that.
I saw a lot of vendors talking to you. Like, you think everybody's like competing with each other. I mean, obviously everybody wants to do well in business, but I saw a lot of collaborations happen. Like people like, "Hey, you know what? We need to work together. We make similar stuff. You make a thing that we don't make, but that will make our thing that we make better. Let's figure out business partnerships and things." So that was really cool. I mean, it was great for me because as a content creator, one of the things you want is to be able to get interviews. So I had all of you guys like as a captive audience in one place, and I actually couldn't even interview everybody. I'm like running around with my camera and setting up and catching 5-minute interviews with everybody. So I've got a list, and you guys are on it, but there's a list of people I didn't get to talk to last time. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna start with the people I didn't talk to last time, and then go back around to the people I did talk to. But that was really cool. So I just told you one of the things I want to do. I want to be able to catch up with people I wasn't able to catch up with. What is something that you didn't get to do that you'd like to be able to do this year? I know it's the spa.
I think probably just visit all the booths a little bit like what you said. Just get to see everybody and talk to everybody. I think last year we were a little bit too caught up in, it was just me and Zach there. And we were like, "Oh my gosh, we can't leave our booth. Like if we leave our booth, what if somebody comes by and has a question? What if somebody comes by and wants this or that?" So I do think we got a little bit too uptight and we were just sitting there, kind of holding our breath. So I think this year we're hoping to, bring some other people with us and just get out and relax and have a little bit more fun. Go talk to people, go make some friends. kind of like how we do with the plates. Just if you just make friends with people and talk to them on a human level, everything else will come in time. So that's, I think, what I'm most looking forward to. And then, just staying. Last year we only went for a day, staying a little longer this year, and
So you guys gonna get there Thursday?
I think we're going to get there Friday morning, real early.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
Just Saturday.
I'm just asking because so I'll get there Thursday night, and I probably want to get around and do some stuff. So actually, I can catch up with you guys, meet you in person.
Yeah.
Whenever you guys show up.
Yeah, we should be there Friday morning, super early, I think.
Yeah. So, let me circle back a little bit. So you guys have bumpers. You got a few different storage solutions. We were looking at your website a little earlier.
Yeah.
You've got various bars. You got 30 millimeter men's weightlifting bar, and then you got your 28 millimeter women's bar, and then you've got a hex bar,
Mhm.
and then you've got two different rack options. Okay, so what all did you take to HomeGymCon last year out of the things I just listed?
Last year, all we had was bumpers and bars. We had just come out with our loadable dumbbell.
Okay, yeah, I saw that on the table.
Yeah, exactly. So last year was just bumpers, couple bars, then our loadable dumbbell. That was really all we had offer wise. And now this year, we the bumpers are kind of our bread and butter. That's really what we'll focus on this year again. So we'll have some of that other stuff, but our baby is the bumpers. That's kind of what we've known for, what we've grown up on. So we'll have all that other stuff there, and we stand behind all that other stuff too. We think it's great to bundle that all together. But come and check out the bumpers are going to be kind of the main focus still.
So let's talk about your bumpers a little bit. Are they recycled? Are they chrome? Or are they brand new?
They're chrome. So we take what we do for anybody who doesn't really know about it. Imagine like AstroTurf, just maybe a hair finer. We basically take that and we mix it with a really, really, really strong glue. It's a urethane glue. So we mix it all together, put it in molds, and then under really high heat, really high pressure, we press them out. And after a certain amount of time, out pops these effectively brand new looking bumpers. And they're made out of basically old car tires and urethane. So
it's recycling.
Yeah. So for some people who want, the green, carbon footprint, all that, I mean, you're truly buying something that otherwise was just going to go to a landfill and sit there probably for 10 million years because the stuff just doesn't break down. It's impossible.
So this is interesting because I told you that I did a home gym tour with this guy who I showed you. Well, I was actually at his house. He goes to church with me. And a lot of times with the chrome bumpers, there's an odor, but yours didn't have an odor. So do you guys sit them out to, basically you sit them in the sun and the odor will go away over time. So do you guys go through a special process before you ship them out to get rid of the odor?
No, that has a lot to do with the glue we use. So a lot of that odor will come from, certain chemical processes. As the glue cures, it's going to do something called off-gassing.
Yeah.
And some glues, that gas that comes off just smells really bad. Smells industrial, rubbery, kind of nasty. The glue we use, it's just been formulated to not do that. So, if you stick your nose down on our plates, it's still going to smell like a fresh rubber plate. But we tell people you can put these in your basement, lock the door, come back a year later, and you'll have no idea they were even there. Come back 6 hours later, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, they're not going to smell, because I have smelled some of those other plates, and in an enclosed space, it's not the greatest.
It's like with some of the stall mats too, because they're made for horses, and the horse ain't gonna complain about the smell.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely will, if it So I just noticed that Carp's Gym, Coach Carp, he's a content creator, and he's got a really great YouTube channel as well as a great Instagram. You guys should follow that, Carp's Gym. But Carp, you in the chat. So if you have a question or anyone has a question for Will, we've only got about 10 more minutes with him. So if you guys have a question for Will, go ahead and drop it in the chat right now. And as I said, if you're watching on the replay, put your question in the comments, and I'll ask Will to come back around and just check out the comments and answer, any questions you guys have, that you guys may have. But one more question about your bumpers.
Mm-hmm.
They come in an oil. Okay, that's part of the process, like to protect them, right? Because you don't know when you make a tire, when you make a bumper plate, you don't know when it's going to sell. So you have to store it in the oil so that it doesn't sit in a warehouse and degrade, right? So what would be your best advice for somebody when the bumpers arrive at their house to get some of the oil residue off?
Gotcha. So just to clarify, so that oily residue, that's from the mold release we use. So when you put these in these molds, they're pressed under 200,000 pounds of pressure. Well, that if you don't have like a mold release and oil on them, you'll never get them out. We couldn't even make them. So that's where that oily residue comes from. And a little bit of that will penetrate into those bumpers. To get that off, we recommend just, some warm water, a little bit of degreaser, soap, anything will work, from a detergent to like a,
You mean like the stuff they use on like the birds whenever like an oil spill?
exactly.
Right?
You can't, a lot of people I think are worried that, I don't want to mess these up. They're brand new. Like you can wipe these things down with gasoline and they won't get messed up. Don't do that, but you can. So yeah.
Whoa, hold on. Don't pour gasoline on your bumper plates.
Exactly. So you can just take any, just a little warm water, a little soap, kind of wipe them down once or twice, and then they should be good to go. Some people, I know that's probably the one complaint that we get the most often, is that there is that oily residue. And unfortunately, it's just something that due to the manufacturing process, we just kind of have to deal with. So just a little warm water, a little soap, wipe them down. We have had people in the past, and I personally have done this, after you wipe them down, if you have a little gym chalk, just kind of sprinkle a little bit of that on there, and that kind of coats it and keeps it from getting on your hands or anything like that. But really after about a week of use, even if you don't wipe them down, it'll just wear off eventually, just through natural processes. So that would be our recommendation.
Nice. All right, so we got a question in the chat from Zoom1510. That name is just legendary right there.
Mm-hmm.
Will, what booth are you at this year at HomeGymCon? Do you know what booth number you have?
I'd have to look. I think it's D6 and 7 is going to be. That is the floor designation we were given. I'm not sure what number that equates to. I know we're going to be right next to
in the main expo, the main event. Yeah,
we'll be in the main room. We'll be about right in the middle. I think a little bit closer to the. If I remember correctly, the Sornex booth will be kind of diagonal to us, right across the way. So, we'll be right about in the middle.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I appreciate your question, man. It looks like we got another guy. So another content creator, Trey Z, DMV Sports 3. That's an excellent YouTube channel. I've actually been on there a couple of times. They do a lot of Washington-based sports. So I appreciate you being here, my man. Let's go. We're trying to get him. In case you're wondering why that's relevant to what we're talking about right now, I'm trying to get him to start a home gym. All right. Mm-hmm. So that's a potential customer right there. All right.
So yeah, reach out to us. We'll
so you need to hit up HomeGrown Lifting. You see his @ right there. He's on Instagram. And then also, let me go ahead and put your website information there. Because we're about to talk about something that I know everybody on here is going to be pretty excited about. You guys gave a discount when you did your AMA on Reddit at our home gym. If you're watching this live stream, are you able to get a discount on your on their HomeGrown Lifting products?
Oh yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let me just go ahead. We're gonna solo. This is important. All right. So they can get a discount.
Yeah. Let me. I forget exactly what the code is. Let me look at it real quick.
Well, I'll help you with that. Use discount code Best Gym in Town. Will that work?
Best Gym in Town. I tell you what, we started at 5%, but I'm going to change it right now. If you're listening, you can go ahead and use that discount. We'll give you 10% off any order. I think that's going to be good till Monday. Yep. So Best Gym in Town. Put that in. 10% off anything in our store.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that, dude. That's awesome. So right there, you see it. All right, there is a benefit for watching and watching live. So even if you're watching on replay, you can go to HomeGrownLifting.com. Use code Best Gym in Town at checkout, and
Yeah.
you'll get 10% off. Okay. All right. Only two more questions for me. Do you guys plan to offer in-person discounts at HomeGymCon? So if somebody's there and they want to buy something and throw it in the back of the car, will they get a discount at the
For
event?
sure. Yeah, we haven't. I think we're up in the air about exactly what it's going to be, but there will definitely be some discounted plates under $1 a pound. So yeah, what it would just come by. It'll probably be around a 10% discount on anything we got. So 90 cent a pound plates picked up in person. It's going to be a hard price to beat.
So what if somebody flies there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we got a fair number of people who are flying into like Louisville or they're flying into Indianapolis. If you
Sure.
fly there, is it possible to be standing right there with you? I did this last year with a couple of stuff, and say, hey man, I'm buying this thing. Can you ship it to my house? Because I can't fit it in my suitcase. You guys will you have be able to do that?
Oh, for sure. We ship anywhere in the lower 48. We can ship, effectively next. Well, it's not going to get there next day. It ships out next day. But anything from 210s, like I said, if you want 10,000 pounds, we can get it shipped to you, pretty quickly and at a really good price too. So if you're there and you want our stuff, we'll give you that 90 cent a pound price, and then just give us your ship to address, and we'll figure out the shipping rates and we'll get it out to you the next day.
Awesome. All right, and then last question from me. This one is actually one of the ones I'm really excited about. What can people expect from the Homegrown Lifting booth at HomeGymCon that they should be excited about? If you're attending HomeGymCon, what is the number one reason you should go to the Homegrown Lifting booth when you get there?
So we're working on a product right now. We're pretty excited about it. One of the big complaints about chrome rubber plates in general and just bumpers in general is, I can't fit enough on the bar. I can't fit enough on the bar. Some of these bigger guys who are pulling 600 and 700 pounds, they want to fit that all on the bar, and with these big bumper plates, you just can't. So no promises, but I know we're pulling some more samples out of the molds today of kind of a thinner style, still a bumper plate, but a thinner style 45-pound bumper plate where you are going to be able to get up to those, big deadlift numbers, or shoot, if you're strong enough, squat numbers, whatever you want to do, but still in that bumper style format where, drop it on the floor, the plates are going to be fine, your floor is going to be fine. We did a Reddit AMA last week, or it might have been 2 weeks ago actually. And that was the number one thing people wanted was, hey, we love your plates, but I can't fit, 600 or 700 pounds on the bar. So we're going to come out with a thin 45 where you are going to be able to do that. And you are going to be able to, get kind of that metal plate feel where you're really loading that bar up, but in a bumper format to where if you bail on it, if you drop it, good to go.
That is actually one of the things that causes me not to like bumper plates. I don't have as many bumper plates because of the fact that I can't fit enough on the bar. So I've got like one pair of 45s, a pair of 35s, and then I have two pairs of 25s. I just happen to have two pairs of 25s, and then some 15s, right? But my point is, I'd have more 45s.
Yeah.
If if they didn't take up so much space, because I've got like probably, well, just in 45s in metal plates, I got like over 600 pounds of metal plates, specifically because of what you just said. But that being said, do you know? So you said that you guys are working on it, but and no promises. But is this something that you're expecting to bring out this year? So this is like a thing we're working on for 2024 by Christmas, or is this like it's kind of like a 2025 thing?
No, this is like we want to launch at HomeGymCon. We want to be there at HomeGymCon. Okay. Not only have the plate for people to touch, but say, hey, order them. We'll ship them out. Right. Again, no promises. It might be a month or two after when we actually.
But you'll have like prototypes there.
Oh, we'll have prototypes, and I mean, my goal personally is to have production units that we can sell. That's that. I'd say there's a 90% chance of that. So that is our goal, is to have those. We've got the molds made. We're running parts, so have those to where people can actually pick them up at HomeGymCon.
Outstanding. Man, Will, thank you so much for being here. I've got the your website information and that discount code going across the bottom of the screen. But tell people before you go, let them know what's the best way for them to reach out to Homegrown Lifting if they want to ask you more questions or if they want to place an order. Especially you, Trey Z. All right, because you said you're taking the challenge, you're getting a home gym in 2024. So how can Trey Z reach you to buy stuff from you? Go ahead and let him know.
Best, easiest way, give us a call. It'll go right to my phone. I'll be the one that picks it up and answers it. So get online, look up our phone number there, and just give us a call. If you're not the call type person, shoot us an email, info@homegrownlifting.com. And again, we'll get around to, we don't let them sit in our inbox, 2 or 3 days. So you'll get a response within a couple of hours. And any questions you got, any orders you want to place, really anything, nothing's too small to talk about. So just give us a call, shoot us an email, and we'll get back to you.
Awesome. Well, man, like I said, I know you got to run. You got a full day. I appreciate you carving out some time for us. Thank you so much for being here. This is Will Whitman of Homegrown Lifting. All right. Appreciate it, my man. You have a good day.
Thanks for having me. We appreciate it.
All right, man. Later.